Welcome to the Daily High. It's not the Daily High today, Tone. It is the
No,
world
it
is
is not.
crashing. How you feeling, mate? We still
Whoa,
we still we still we still buy the dip?
not that well. Let's take a look at the charts. I was yeah, people were messaging me yesterday asking me if I still had like the same view in the afternoon, and the price of Bitcoin was still only like 66. And I'm I'm just busy all day yesterday, and I go to bed and I'm like, okay, it can still recover back to like 67, 68. I wake up this morning. I actually had nightmares when the price of Bitcoin kept going down all night. And woke up this morning and it was down. I'm like, wow. Maybe I was just waking up in the middle of the night, like checking the price.
Yeah.
Let's go take a look. Like the one thing that I did not do on yesterday's stream is I was actually fairly confident we were going to go higher. And I guess that's why God created stop losses. But I didn't mention short-term stop losses. I mentioned the big support area at 50,000, even though I also said I didn't really expect us to get to 50,000 uh, before going higher. And clearly, we can still get to that 50,000. But what I did not talk about at all was a shorter term stop loss. So I'm going to try to always mention that, like a shorter
Mm.
term stop loss. So we're going to go and review where that shorter term stop loss would have made sense.
Yeah.
So let's
I
go
I
and
I
take a
I,
look.
me- I messaged you. We'll go through it when I do my charts, but I messaged you about what, an hour after the show last night and said that I closed my trade out
Yeah,
and
you did.
just manually, and I'm bloody glad I did do that. But let's do it. Let's crack in.
So look, the weekly chart is still not a concern. It's not creating a nice, clean MRI top. And now it's looking more like the MRI top that it's going to create could be closer to this candle right here with a 2 on it without the big, blow off top situation. Uh, that turned out to be a very clean reversal doji candlestick. And in my days of trading, before the MRI, and before I learned similar indicators to the MRI, so if I turn the MRI off, those that have watched my educational videos, you would know that in a situation like this, the time to short the asset is when it breaks the bottom of that doji. So that is something I did not really want to see on Bitcoin, and that just happened last night. The low of that doji candle was 64,540. So anywhere in the vicinity of that low creates a very dangerous situation from the price perspective based on candlesticks, which is always the most important thing in my trading. I mean, everyone is different. In my trading, the most important thing is price action, and price action is reflected in candlesticks. So the moment on a weekly scale, the price of Bitcoin goes below 65,000 because it's now so close to 64 and a half. That's it. That's a very, very serious problem. And this is something I kind of thought Bitcoin could avoid, but by not being able to avoid it, I have to say that the weekly chart is in trouble. There's no other way of saying it. Now, today is only Tuesday. It can still recover, but at the moment, there needs to be serious defensive measures taken, even on the weekly scale. Let's go to the allocation chart. Now, the allocation chart is still, giving it the benefit of the doubt. The allocation chart has not crossed the intermediate moving average. The moving averages have not crossed each other, and this still has another day to go. I'm actually gonna hang in there, and I'm gonna hold on to my 100% bullish position, even though the weekly chart is telling me I should start panicking. I'm gonna stick to Consensio for a change because this entire move happened overnight, and because I only have a 7-hour trading window, I did not have the opportunity uh, to take profit yesterday. And the majority of the crash happened at night, and there's still a chance, we can pray and hope that this recovers. And I'm going to stick with that strategy at least for the first half of the day. Now, the daily chart, this is where shit really hit the fan. It was all right here. So I might have mentioned it a little bit yesterday, but in order for me to lose the moving average, I need a full candle that trades on the opposite side of the moving average. But a candle like this is almost an exception to that rule, because the candle just happened to start near the top of the moving average. Had this candle started like 2 hours later, it probably would have started below the moving average and completely cratered. So based on the daily chart, where should like myself or other people have realized that shit's going bad? Well, anywhere in the vicinity of the prior swing lows. And because the closing of the bodies or opening of the body is so close to the edge of the, like the shadow is not like it was on March 5th, where the shadow's half the candle. The shadow here is like 5% of the candle. So the shadow is really irrelevant. It's the body. It's the new daily close. So the daily close 3 days ago was at 65,300. So anywhere in the vicinity of that, basically anywhere below 64,000, it was, sorry, it wasn't 63, it was 65,300. So anywhere, below or approaching 65 and a half, anywhere within spitting distance of 65,300 is basically panic mode on the daily chart, especially since the fifth candle in the countdown towards an MRI buy opportunity. And at this point, with a red star candle and breaching this prior swing low, having the moving average turn somewhere below 66,000, I kind of threw in the towel mentally. And this was happening late at night, was out to dinner with a few people. But we were watching the price of Bitcoin. I'm sure that person's watching me right now that I was out to dinner with yesterday. And the moment it was like breaking below 66,000, we're both like, shit, this is bad. And that's when shit kind of hit the fan for me the moment we were breaking 66. Because in yesterday's show, when we were closing out the show at 68 and a half, I did not expect 66 or lower. So I didn't talk about it all that much. But this is where you got to adjust to reality. And an analysis is only as good as the last time you looked at the charts. And the last time I looked at the charts was at 68 and a half. And now I'm looking at the charts and it looks bad. But when I was looking at the price, anything below 66 was a big, big problem. So what about now? What am I thinking now? Well, now I'm bearish. Hey, we can reverse. We might have already reversed. I'm still 100% long, according to Consensio. For the next 3 to 4 hours, my strategy is going to be hope and make deals with God. But in reality, based on this daily chart, I am very, very bearish, waiting for an MRI buy opportunity on the daily chart. Ideally, I would like that to be bouncing off of the next moving average of 50 period. But in reality, because the 50-period moving average is down at 57, I honestly don't want to see it go that low, because if it goes that low, it completely screws my weekly counts and my weekly charts. Because if it goes that low, then the weekly moving average is all the way at 50. And I did mention the 50 price yesterday. So hopefully we stay in the 60s. We reverse somewhere from the 60 area. But right now there is open air between current price of 63 and a half all the way down to 57. The only thing that's in between here that I can see reversing us is the MRI buy opportunity. And there's one additional thing I'm going to check before I give it off to Matt, is a Fibonacci support line. So if I choose the low of the last pullback, and I bring this up, and I may have to zoom in, and I bring this up to the swing high, and I like it that the shadows are very, very close to the bodies, because it makes my choices easier of where those Fibonacci lines are. And let me just like anchor that in. And now we have my most favorite Fibonacci line sitting right here at exactly 60, which is great. I didn't know where that line was going to end up, but it's really, really good to see that the Fibonacci line is right at 60,000. That's the 38% retracement. That is my favorite retracement. So maybe that's going to be the low, but we are hoping and praying that the low is right now. Now, Matt's going to go through alphanumerics. Wow, like my 4-hour chart is even out of the picture, right? It goes to show you where I left off the charts yesterday. We had an MRI buy on a 4-hour, which was meaningless. We already got a red star candle following that. Yes, that's a hammer. Yes, we're reversing this morning. The market's going to open in 45 minutes. Anything can still happen, but we broke the MRI support line. Everything went bad. We had this triple top. We were sitting right at this green star candle at 8 a.m. candle yesterday. I was, of course, super bullish right at that candle. And when did shit hit the fan on a 4-hour scale? Well, the moment we broke below these lows at 67,000, the moment we broke below 67,000, yesterday at like after 10 a.m., things went bad, things went south. We were not able to break the prior swing highs of 68. The moment we went back down below 67, again, had I been watching the market, which I wasn't, that was in the evening, everything was in trouble. And when I was going out to dinner, this is that 8 p.m. candle. This is this is the 1-hour chart, not the 4-hour chart. Yeah, this is the 8 p.m. candle. I was on my way to dinner. Bitcoin was still, flirting with 68,000. I thought everything was good. And then during dinner, we're just watching Bitcoin crash right here. This was the candle. This was right in the middle of dinner. This is the 9 p.m. candle. We had an 8 p.m. reservation. And this red star candle right here, breaking below 67, and spent half the dinner just looking at the price of Bitcoin, which was unfortunate, right? Like, I don't like doing that during dinner. But everything was hitting the fan right on this 9 p.m. New York time candle. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Just like a sneak peek at S&P. S&P still rising. Yes, S&P still doing well. Not rising on a daily, but definitely was up on the weekly. And I'll leave it here. Matt, off to you.
Yeah, that's great, mate. Before I go into the analytics, the Discord group is ready to rock. There's a link in the description below. Absolutely use the Discord group. It's going to be a vital resource for you. You have free access to the VIP section just by signing up with the affiliate links in the description below. We have 2bit and BitGet. They have great bonuses for deposits as well. From, I believe, tomorrow, we will start having integrated Bangbox signals into the VIP section. So you'll see entries, exits, stop losses, everything all built in, fired to your phone. Coming down the line, we'll have a Telegram group. And then when you all start messaging me in 3 months' time saying, these are great, but I keep sleeping through them, before that, we'll even have the bot integrated, which will trigger all those signals manually for you. So I can't wait to go through that with you. Let's get into the price. This is where it's all happening. The 4-hour time frame is where I want to start. So last night when we did the show, I believe the price was about here at 68,300. I was in a long I got long down here at whatever it was, we'll call it 65, and I closed the position up here, and I got at about 67. I got back long here because same as Tone, I was quite bullish at this point. But when I messaged Tone last night at this red line here at 67,350, I closed the trade. So that it was on the very next 4-hour candle from the show.
It was a losing trade for you then, right?
Yeah, it was. I lost 0.0223 on the trade. But like I measured, and I'm glad I called it. This is why I'm glad I don't mind this. I don't mind this at all. This is part and parcel. But I mean, the position was the point, we'll call it 0.5, 1.5 because I was 3x leveraged long, 1.5 loss. That's an acceptable loss because I didn't have to suffer through all of this, which was great. That's trading. And I did really well the same day as well on the way upside. So yeah, I probably split the difference on the day. All good. Now, this green star candle has printed now on the 4-hour time frame. So
Green diamond.
the green diamond, not the green star, right? So I do expect some move off this. So if you had have gone long on the green star candle, let's say when the candle closed right here, you took on the long position. I'm going to get rid of these now because that trade is done. Let's just clean up the chart. Let's say you
Did
went
you
long.
okay? Oh, well, I got a question. Did you
Yeah.
want that green star to really happen inside the green wave, or it doesn't matter to you?
Yeah, this is a good point. I'll get to that in a
The
minute.
green
This
diamond.
was this green diamond was flirting. Okay, so when it was down here, it was definitely green. And I messaged Tone, oh, we got a green diamond on this candle. I want that to get down inside the green wave here. I was really hoping we'd dump really hard and I'd get a fantastic flash crash that I could enter the trade off. I was ready to enter before this show. But then we came up, and when in fact this was so close, where it was at 36,025, sorry, 63,025, it printed the green diamond. But when it was at 63,125, the green diamond had disappeared and it would have rolled it over to this candle here, the eligibility, which I wanted actually on this candle, but it printed. So when this candle opened, I didn't take the trade, and I'll explain why in a minute. But that could be a trade. It's a tradable candle for a potential bounce, but not the bottom. And I'll explain that in a minute. So if you had to enter that trade, I would definitely put a stop even, a break even stop loss on this trade right now. Your chance to low, and it has bounced off it. It's up $400 on this trade. And maybe that is the low, but it's not enough for me. So I would not lose money on this trade. I would either let it ride and be a good trade, or I'd put stop measures in place. So I'll get rid of this right now. I want to see which overrides a random green diamond in the middle of no man's land. I want to see us get back inside the green wave. It's the same thing I said throughout these weeks. When we start closing below the moving averages, I will look to the MRI support and resistance zone. So that's what I was flirting with and making those trades off. But when that was broken, especially here when it was broken, I go to the next level down. Now I'm looking for buys inside the green wave. Just to be clear, that's the 200 SMA. So I want to see buys inside here. I just keep repeating that. I will be buying inside this wave. I'll still observe all my stop losses and money management, but that's where I want to see. And it's funny that you said that you were bearish on the price right now. In many ways, I'm more bullish on the price. If we get inside this wave, if I think about it as a trader, I would rather be buying in this range here, anywhere in here, than I would at here in many ways. This is, if you go to the daily to confirm the point, this is overbought territory. And by coming back down and exactly getting on the 30 simple moving average here, which it touched perfectly, this is a good area for me for the next attempt. Now, I will review that trade. So let's say I got back in off the 30 and it bounced up. My stop loss is here. Once it's moved up to here, I can move the stop loss to break even. I'm still observing money management in all of these trades, but I like to buy in this oversold territory while the wave is still green. My macro is still bullish at this point. This is just a normal pullback until it's not. You'll see here, this dot right here. That is where, it's very hard to see, but that is where at 49,957, that's where the wave will turn red. So for me, this is 20% in the distance of this wave here, and I've just got it as 20%. That's sorry guys, I'm using one hand. I've got one of those little magic mic pad things. That's 20%, right? The distance of this wave. So I love the buys in this range. If we can get into here over the next few weeks, and I can set my stop loss down here. This is for a spot position, not a leverage position, obviously, but that's where my bias turns bearish. I'm still completely bullish macro. So this is a classic alphanumerics buy zone, buy the dip zone inside the green wave, and where the wave is still green. And the beauty of it is, if your mindset's still macro bullish, you'll save yourself a 20% correction, which would be right here today. That's not a bad correction to get to 59. You said 60. is a good spot to hit that moving average. Bang, you get 60, you get inside the wave, you get an 18% discount on the all-time high rate while you're still macro bullish. Love it. Love it. I'm looking for an entry. I'm looking for an entry. Daily time frame, as I just briefly touched on it before, I'm still completely bullish on this market. As I said, my Lucid Star is very, very, very low below the price. We haven't crossed the 30 simple moving average. In fact, we respected it. If we were to break that, you just move it down to a lower point. That's what you're looking for next, the 50. But you'd still be inside the wave in this point. So ultimately, I'm not at all bearish. I'm cautious, and I have to respect money management in these trades. But this is sort of the buy the dip that I want, that 20 to 30% pullback while we're still bullish. That's where I'm sitting here. I'm in no trade right now, but we'll see what happens. That's all I've really got. I've got plenty to go through, but the week is long, and I want to see which direction it plays out.
I'm going to jump the screen share one more time because I didn't look at the 4-hour chart. I was looking at the 1-hour chart. When Matt pulled up the 4-hour chart, the first thing that I noticed was an MRI warning candle with an MRI low coming in next candle. I used the reverse on alphanumerics, so my green diamond came in on current candle, and I had to sneeze again. So my green diamond came in on current candle, and this is looking like a bullish candle. So there is a chance here. Now, if I was to take a stab at a long trade right now, off this green diamond, off the MRIs, have a very defined stop loss.
Bless you.
Man, that stop loss is right there. So
you're right, man.
Yeah, man, we gotta do these shows later in the day. I don't know why. It's like everywhere I travel to Panama or the US, like the weather is killing me. And
Tone, I'm just going to talk for a second because it puts me on camera while you wipe your nose. So you're not on camera right now. So I'll get you to do that. What Tone's going to say is that he wants that blue line that he's put in is a very good practical stop loss to put in if you were going to take a stab at this trade. But for me, that's too close to the green wave, which is my ideal entry point. So I kind of want to see it go into the green wave. That supersedes the green diamond for me. Go ahead, Tone, take it away.
Okay, so there is a pretty defined stop loss here. And when I take a stab at this trade, my answer is no. I would wait for some more confirmation. And when I say I am bearish here, yes, there are good levels of support around 60, but there's also some serious overhead resistance. There is major resistance at the prior breakdown levels. All these moving averages are flipping over, and this is the 4-hour chart. The 1-hour chart is equally as bad, with the moving averages even lower. It's just too much overhead resistance, and getting long right here for me gives me very limited upside. I wouldn't do it. I would wait. I would wait for the daily MRI to at least flip over into positive territory and give me a green star on the daily MRI at this point, or an MRI buy opportunity, but that's still like at the end of the week, like over the weekend or something. So we got a long way to go.
And that brings up a really good point, Tone, because it's very important to define what the trade is before you get into it. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes I get into trades and I don't know if they're going to be a scalp trade for a few hours, or if they're going to be a week, or if they're going to be 6 months. I don't know exactly when I enter the trade. I have to see how it plays out. But I've left the option open. So I'm still completely long from 27,200 spot. I'm still completely long from 17,200 spot. I'm not getting out of those positions at all. But taking a stab at this trade might be a great scalp to bounce back up to those moving averages, as you said, where there's a lot of profit to be made on those great responses that we had. If we get back into that green wave, it might only be a week-long trade. It might only be a few days trade, a few hours trade, but I think that there'll be a response of it. Tone's absolutely right that this is not buying into strength. Buying it at 70 is a lot stronger buy than it is right now. But risk reward.
Right.
That's the
Look,
that's the trade.
I'm willing to try to, catch the perfect dip, catch the perfect falling knife. I'm willing to do it every now and then, but I need, a lot more than a 4-hour MRI buy opportunity 3 hours from now, right? It's not even right now. And 3 hours from now, we could be sitting a lot higher. But if 3 hours from now, we're crashing to 60,000, that creates a way better buy the dip opportunity. So so for me, I'm either going long in a couple of days at like back at 68,000, or I'm going long later today at 60 or lower, right? Like just that this price range between 61 and 67 puts me smack in the middle of no man's land, and I don't like to trade this area at all. So right now, if I don't end up exiting on my GBTC position, I'm just going to hold through it because I'm still overall bullish. I'm not going to panic sell because it's a little too late for that. But I'm also not going to panic buy. I'm not going to like try to catch a knife in the middle of nowhere. I need a lot more moon and stars to line up in order for me to try to catch this dip.
Yeah, and that's a really good way to end the show. Just it's every time if you're trying to catch a falling knife like this, you have to be able to be agile enough to call it and say, "Oh, I was wrong." Do you know what I mean? And the worst thing that a lot of traders do is they'll have a great bull market where they'll get fooled by randomness, Nassim Taleb, thinking that they're great traders. And then every little dip on the way down, they'll buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip, and then I'll stop out, 2%, 2%, 2%, and then death by 1,000 cuts. You give it all back. So if you're not proficient, if you're not agile, if you're not awake, if you're not don't know how to set stops, if you don't know what you're doing, put your hands in your pocket. Put your money in your pocket, put your hand in your pocket and wait. We'll come back and you'll save yourself a hell of a lot of help.
And what makes it worse, right? You buy these dips, like 5 dips in a row, and you lose 2% on each one, and then you say, all right, screw it, and then the next one reverses and goes up so quick, you miss the move.
That's the one. That's the one. That's the one that'll haunt you. So have a system, have a reason. I've got my green wave. That's when I'm happy to try and that dip again. But if we keep crashing down, I'll get out at 1% again and try again.
And I got 3. I'll pull them up one last time. I got 3 areas where I'm willing to catch the falling knife, and if all 3 of them align, that would be great. I have the MRI buy. I have the 38% Fibonacci retracement, and I have the 50-period moving average. And they're all going to align at approximately 59. So if on a candle, 4 days from today, today's Tuesday, so if on Saturday, because that's 4 days from Tuesday, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday. If on Saturday we have a candle that happens to crash down to 57, flash crash, come back and close above 60, on a Saturday, I get a beautiful reversal candle off the 50-period moving average, staying and closing above, the Fibonacci line, and on alphanumerics, we're not even close to hitting the modified SAR.
No, but we might get a green diamond on the daily time frame, which would be fantastic down there.
Yeah, that'd be nice also. And so if all of that aligns this weekend, and giving me, and I will always go back to what I think is the buying opportunity of the decade, and I called it such pretty much on the day or the next day. If I get something looking like this, where I have a reversal candle right here on an MRI buy opportunity, off of a nice round number. Back here it was 20, now it can be 60, off a moving average. In this case it was 128 and the 200. Now it's going to be the 50, which is still good, with a green diamond as well. Like if everything aligns looking like this weekend, that would be, the opportunity of the quarter or whatever it is, right? But right now, now we are sitting on a candle like this, though it's not a red star candle. So right now we're more sitting on a candle like this, a candle that crashed us, but the candle happened a little bit earlier in the MRI count. So we have, instead of waiting for 2 days, we may have to wait for 4 days. But if I see something like this at 60,000, that's my knife catch, but not right now.
Yep. And let's wind the show up. That sounds fantastic, Tone. Well done, Max. I agree.
All right. I'm good. Where's mine? There it is. Bam.
Look, if you're interested in playing these markets with money that you know what you're doing, please use the affiliate links in the description below. Especially if you're in the US or in the UK, we have that friendly exchanges for that with 2bit, and we can't wait to see you tomorrow. Tone, what do you think is going to happen, up or down, next 24 hours?
Up for the next few hours, but I'm pretty pessimistic. If we had our trading contest, I would probably be short into tomorrow.
Yeah, I wouldn't be short. But if it was a trading competition, maybe. But I wouldn't be short in general with real money right now because we are oversold. We have come down a fair way. I'm hoping that we do exactly what Tone says, bounce for the next few hours, get about $1,000 above that green diamond, and then come back into that green wave. I hope we have a big, hard flash crash. That would be even better because then I could really clip in, lock and load, and hopefully I'm in a long trade for tomorrow's show and we're coasting again. But we'll see. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Thanks, guys.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys, for watching. See you on the next one.